Assalamualaikum and good morning to sir. My name is Nazatul Aida binti Yusani, and today me and my friend will be presenting on the macroeconomic determinant of residential property prices in Malaysia. In this presentation, we will explore how key macroeconomic factors influence the dynamic and ever-changing landscape of Malaysian residential property market. As the first presenter, I will begin the presentation with the introduction. The housing sector is crucial to the Malaysian economy, making a substantial contribution to GDP expansion, job creation, and the general economic stability. It gives the country's population a place to live and a vital source of wealth accumulation. However, because of its dynamic nature and the influence of multiple economic forces, the housing market is subject to fluctuation. It is essential for investor, consumer, and government to comprehend this factor. With an emphasis on the time leading up to and during the COVID-19 epidemic, the study attempts to examine the effect of important macroeconomic factors on the residential property prices in Malaysia. The pandemic has caused the world economy to face so far uncommon difficulties, and its effect on the property market demand careful research. Therefore, 4 major economic factors will be specifically examined in this study. The first one is GDP, which measures economic growth. Second one is exchange rate, which determines import prices and investor sentiment. The third one is unemployment rate, which measures job stability and consumer confidence. And the last one is wage rate, which have a significant impact on the housing affordability. This study aims to provide light on the Malaysian housing market and guide future policy decisions by examining the relationship between this factor and residential property prices. Next, I will explain about the impact of macroeconomic variable on the residential property prices. The first one is gross domestic product, GDP. Economic growth, as measured by GDP, generally have a positive influence on the housing demand. Higher GDP indicates increased economic activity, job creation, and rising income. This leads to increased consumer confidence, spending power, and stimulating demand for housing. The article suggests a mixed relationship between GDP and housing prices in Malaysia, but GDP theoretically should boost housing demand. As the text mentioned, some studies have found an inverse relationship, suggesting that rapid GDP growth may lead to increased housing supply, potentially moderating price increase. The article found that GDP either positively or negatively correlated with the housing prices in Malaysia. Next, I will explain about the exchange rate. The exchange rate can have both positive and negative impact on housing prices. A depreciation of the domestic currency can make imported construction material more expensive, potentially increasing construction costs and pushing up house pricing. On the other hand, a weaker currency can attract foreign investors to the domestic property market, increasing demand and potentially driving up prices. The article suggests that exchange rate fluctuation can have a significant impact on the housing prices. It's not that depreciation on the Malaysian ringgit can make property more attractive to foreign investors, while also increasing the cost of import construction material. The text states that a favorable exchange rate increases the attractiveness of residential property asset for foreigners. It's also acknowledged that weaker currency can lead to higher construction costs due to more expensive imported material. The next one is unemployment rate. Unemployment generally have a negative influence on the housing demand. Higher unemployment rate lead to lower income, reduced consumer confidence, and increased financial insecurity, all of which can discourage home ownership. This article indicates that unemployment rate can significantly impact housing demand in Malaysia. Higher unemployment rates are likely to reduce demand for housing, potentially leading to lower prices. The article cites study that found a negative relationship between unemployment rate and housing price in various contexts, including Sydney and Ontario. It also acknowledged the potential impact of high unemployment on consumer confidence and affordability. The last one is wage level. Rising wages can have both positive and negative effect on housing prices. Higher wages increase purchasing power, potentially stimulating demand for housing. However, rising wages can also increase construction costs, as labor costs are significantly component of building expenses. The article suggests that wage level can play a significant role in influencing house pricing in Malaysia. Higher wage can increase demand while also potentially increase construction costs. The article found that positive correlation between wage level and housing price in Indonesia. It also acknowledged that higher wage demand by labor union can make the property investment climate less attractive to investment. That's all from me, and I will pass the presentation to the next member.
Good day, everyone. My name is Fardi Nadira, and today I'll be presenting the findings from the ECO416 report, which examines the impacts of the COVID-19 outbreak on macroeconomic variables with a specific focus on Malaysia's residential property market. The COVID-19 pandemic has profound effects on Malaysia's economy. The country experienced a sharp decline in GDP due to movement restrictions, which severely limited exportation and consumption. Unemployment rose significantly as many businesses downsized or shut down, resulting in reduced incomes and lower purchasing power. Additionally, while preliminary analysis indicated a positive relationship between the exchange rate and property prices, the pandemic's effects made this relationship largely insignificant. Another critical factor was stagnant wages, as salaries remained low or even declined during this period, further exacerbating economic challenges and weakening consumer confidence. The residential property also faced significant disruptions. High unemployment and low consumer confidence led to price stagnation, with property prices declining due to reduced demand. The uncertain economic environment caused many potential buyers to back out, leading to an increase in unsold inventory and an oversupply of housing. Furthermore, the previously strong correlation between house prices increases and GDP growth weakened, reflecting the inconsistency of economic recovery during the pandemic. Affordability challenges in the housing market were also heightened. Unemployment levels became a major determinant of property price trends, and with wages stagnant or declining, many first-time buyers were unable to enter the market. This affordability crisis, coupled with reduced urban incomes, placed significant pressure on prospective homeowners. To address these challenges, the Malaysian government implemented key interventions, including special stamp duties for first-time homeowners and various housing schemes aimed at boosting market activity. However, additional efforts are necessary to foster a more resilient and sustainable housing market.
COVID-19 pandemic on Malaysia residential real estate market and explore some effective solutions to stabilize this vital sector. The pandemic has caused significant price fluctuation and challenges for both investor and home buyers. To address these unique difficulties, we need targeted strategies that can stabilize the housing market and mitigate the adverse effect of macroeconomic shift on property values. First and foremost, the government should introduce the financial assistance programs for first-time home buyers. This could includes the low-interest loans and down payment subsidies, making a home ownership more accessible. Additionally, offering tax incentives such as temporary exemptions from stamp duty or property tax can encourage buyers to enter the market and help stabilize property prices. Expanding existing housing scheme like My First Home scheme and the One Malaysia People's Housing Scheme Prima can provide more affordable housing options for low and middle income families, ensuring that everyone has a chance to own a home. To further boost demands, the Central Bank of Malaysia or Bank Negara Malaysia should consider lowering the overnight policy rate, the OPR. This would reduce borrowing costs for home buyers, making it easier for them to securing finance. Financial institutions can also play a crucial role by offering flexible loan terms, such as longer repayment periods or grace periods for mortgage payment. This will help alleviate the financial burden on homeowners affected by the pandemic. Encouraging transparency in real estate listing and transactions is essential. This helps buyers make informed decisions and support fair pricing in the market. Additionally, establishing a framework for routine assessment of the housing market can identify the trends and fluctuations in property prices, provide available cost and stakeholder and policymaker. Targeted support for vulnerable communities is also vital. Programs offering rental assistance and housing stability can help lessen the pandemic's impact on the most affected. Furthermore, public awareness campaign can inform prospective homebuyers about available assistance programs and the importance of financial planning. By implementing these solutions, we can stabilize Malaysia residential real estate markets and empower individuals to make informed decisions. And together, we can navigate these challenging times and build a brighter future for all.
The report makes several recommendations to overcome these challenges. First, enhancing government support programs to increase access to housing assistance for low-income first-time buyers is essential. Promoting economic recovery through employment opportunities and vocational training can help reduce unemployment and strengthen the housing market. Encouraging sustainable development practices such as eco-friendly construction and low-cost housing will not only meet the growing population's needs, but also attract investments. Flexible financing options include relaxed mortgage terms with low down payments and longer repayment periods should be implemented to make home ownership more accessible. Lastly, policies to monitor and regulate property prices are necessary to prevent speculative price hikes and ensure healthy market dynamics.
This case study explored the relationship between macroeconomic factors and the Malaysian housing market. It highlighted how unemployment, wage level, GDP growth, and exchange rate all influence housing demand and price. The study found that this relationship can be complex, with some factors like unemployment having both positive and negative effects depending on the situations. The COVID-19 pandemic further complicated this dynamic by causing a decline in GDP, rising unemployment, and an affordability crisis in the housing market. Overall, understanding how these macroeconomic variables interact is crucial for analyzing the Malaysian housing market and formulating effective policies.